The Galactic Union had never felt fear like this before. Across hundreds of star systems, messages of panic and despair filled the communication channels. Reports of fleets being destroyed, planets falling, and entire populations vanishing reached the Council in a steady, horrifying stream. In the capital of the Union, a sprawling crystal city orbiting a gas giant, the leaders gathered in the Great War Chamber. The chamber's walls reflected the cold starlight, and the air was thick with tension. Each representative had traveled from their home world, carrying the weight of their people's desperation. Admiral Korvath of the Zilari, a species known for their sharp intellect and rigid discipline, slammed a clawed hand on the table. Our outer defenses have fallen. The Vorak Dominion's fleets are advancing faster than anyone expected. We have lost 5 systems in the last solar cycle alone. Beside him, the tall, serpentine ambassador Yeloth hissed softly in distress. The Vorak are relentless. Even our fastest ships cannot match their speed. We are not ready for this war. We are doomed. From the corner, a small, fragile-looking alien named Timo, from the planet Rylith, spoke with a quiet, trembling voice. Perhaps there is still hope. There is a species outside our borders. Humans. They are distant, unknown to us, but their technology is different, powerful. Maybe they can help? The room went silent. Every representative turned to Timo. The suggestion was bold. It was unheard of for the Galactic Union to seek aid from humanity. They were a young species, rarely interacting with other galactic civilizations. Most species considered humans unpredictable, sometimes reckless, and too primitive to understand interstellar war. Admiral Korvath's eyes narrowed. Humans? Do you expect us to believe that a single planet of bipedal creatures, who have barely mastered spaceflight, can help us against the Vorak? We cannot rely on myths and rumors, Timo. Timo swallowed. I do not speak of myths. Sensors and probes have observed them. Humans develop weapons and ships at a speed unmatched in our records. They are adaptable, resourceful. They have survived conditions no other species could endure. The council murmured among themselves. Doubt mixed with curiosity. Could this young, distant species really be their salvation? Some dismissed the idea entirely, believing it was a foolish hope in a time of desperation. Others were quiet, thinking that even a small chance was worth taking. After hours of debate, it was decided. A small scout ship, equipped with stealth technology, would be sent to Earth to deliver the message. The galaxy is in peril. We need your help. The scout ship departed the Crystal City, slipping past patrols and Vorak scouts, and began the long journey to a blue-green planet at the edge of the Union. The journey would take many cycles, but every moment mattered. Meanwhile, on Earth, life continued largely as usual. Cities bustled, ships moved in orbit, and humans went about their daily routines, unaware of the galactic war raging beyond their skies. Yet, hidden deep within human space, sensors had already detected anomalies. Vorak fleets, moving through distant systems, leaving destruction in their wake. Human scientists had been monitoring the situation quietly for months, analyzing alien movements and predicting possible outcomes. When the scout ship finally entered Earth's orbit, it was met with a curious display. Humans were ready. They had long expected a message from the galaxy. Though they did not know exactly from whom, the craft was guided safely to a secure station in orbit, where representatives of the United Earth Council waited. The scout ship's commander, a small Zilari named Relok, emerged cautiously. I bring a message of great urgency, he said, his voice echoing slightly in the human communication chamber. The galaxy is losing its war. Entire systems have fallen. Our fleets are failing. We request your aid. Humanity, you are our last hope. The humans listened carefully. Instead of panic or fear, they remained calm, analyzing the data the scout had brought. The maps of destroyed systems, reports of Vorak war machines, and projections of their next targets were displayed on large holographic screens. General Mara Quinn, head of Earth's strategic defense, studied the information with intense focus. This is serious. The Vorak are far more advanced than any species we've encountered. But I see potential. We've already developed new technologies that may not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Perhaps one ship, if equipped properly, can make a difference. The alien observers blinked in surprise. One ship? That seemed impossible. But humans rarely acted as expected. They were calculating, unpredictable, and willing to take risks no other species would consider. Do you trust us? Relok asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. Mara Quinn smiled faintly. We don't just trust. We prepare. And preparation is what makes humans. Humans. Within hours, plans were drawn. A single ship, the Horizon Lance, would be sent to join the Galactic Union fleets. Unlike any vessel the galaxy had seen before, it combined speed, defense, and adaptive weapons capable of changing tactics in real time. Humans insisted on designing and equipping the ship themselves, believing that only their ingenuity could match the challenge ahead. The aliens watched in awe as engineers worked tirelessly, assembling the ship in orbit. Its hull gleamed with a reflective alloy unknown to most alien sciences. Energy conduits shimmered with a faint blue glow, pulsating like a heartbeat. The ship seemed almost alive. This is unlike anything I've ever seen, murmured Relok. It cannot be defeated easily. It is extraordinary. Meanwhile, humans inside the ship prepared for departure. Pilots ran simulations. Weapon systems were tested, and navigation calculated the shortest route to the Union front lines. Every detail was accounted for. Humanity did not rely on numbers alone. They relied on creativity, adaptability, and the ability to learn faster than any enemy could predict. When the Horizon Lance finally launched, a hush fell over the human observers and alien visitors alike. The ship's engines flared with a quiet blue light, and it accelerated smoothly into the void of space, leaving a trail of energy behind. It moved not with the chaotic haste of most vessels, but with a purposeful grace, as if it already knew the path it would take. As the Horizon Lance sped toward the galaxy's war zone, the Galactic Union anxiously awaited its arrival. Some still doubted a single human ship could make any difference. Others clung to the hope that humans, in their unpredictable brilliance, might just tip the balance. Days passed. Vorak fleets continued their relentless advance, destroying world after world. The Union fleets fought bravely but suffered heavy losses. Morale was at an all-time low. In the command rooms, leaders often sat in silence, staring at the holomaps of burning systems, wondering if this was truly the end. Then, in the distance, sensors picked up an anomaly. A ship, unlike any recorded, was approaching at impossible speed. It moved through space silently, weaving between debris and asteroids with unmatched precision. The Vorak, for the first time, detected something unfamiliar. Their scanners could not categorize the ship's technology. Union commanders leaned forward in shock as the Horizon Lance entered their systems. The human ship did not send greetings or demands. It simply positioned itself strategically, scanning the battlefield, analyzing every Vorak formation, and broadcasting signals to Union ships with tactical instructions. Admiral Korvath could hardly believe his eyes. Is this a single ship? Can one vessel truly do this? Timo, the small Relithian ambassador, shook his head slowly. Humans are unique. They are not like any species we have known. I believe they may succeed where all others have failed. The Horizon Lance continued forward, moving with calm precision. It emitted pulses of energy that repaired damaged Union ships and disabled Vorak weapons temporarily. Every movement was calculated, every decision deliberate. It was as if the ship itself could predict the flow of battle. As night fell over the capital of the Union, leaders looked to the stars. For the first time in many cycles, hope glimmered. Perhaps humanity, quiet and distant though they were, might just save the galaxy from total annihilation. And so, the stage was set. The galaxy waited. The Vorak pressed forward, and one human warship alone, unmatched and brilliant, was about to change everything. The Horizon Lance moved silently through the void, its hull gleaming like a shard of starlight. Across the Galactic Union fleets, sensors struggled to identify it. Alien commanders stared at the readings in disbelief. The ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its energy signature was different, almost alive. Captain Mara Quinn, seated in the ship's command deck, monitored every detail. "Keep shields at 20% and weapons at standby," she said to her crew. "We are not here to attack blindly. Observation first, engagement second." The crew, a mix of humans from different worlds, followed her orders with precision. Years of training, simulations, and preparation had taught them one lesson above all: adaptability. In the coming battle, it would not be brute strength that mattered. It would be thinking faster than the enemy. As the Horizon Lance approached the front lines, Union fleets were engaged in a desperate struggle. Star systems had fallen, and the Vorak Dominion's ships moved like predators in the dark. Union forces fought bravely, but their ships were slow, predictable, and already worn from weeks of battle. Admiral Korvath of the Zilari fleet observed the human ship on his command monitors. "Is that one vessel?" he muttered. "Can it really make a difference? It is too small, too fragile." Timo, the small Relithian, shook his head. "Do not underestimate humans, Admiral. They do not rely on size or numbers. They rely on ingenuity." The Horizon Lance reached the war zone quietly. Its sensors scanned the Vorak positions, noting patterns, weaknesses, and weapon ranges. Captain Quinn activated the ship's adaptive systems. The energy shields shimmered with a soft blue light, adjusting dynamically to incoming readings. Weapons aligned in perfect formation, ready to respond to any threat. The first engagement began when a squadron of Vorak assault fighters approached the Union's left flank. The Horizon Lance fired a series of pulses not destructive in the usual sense, but designed to disable. Within seconds, the Vorak ships froze, engines failing, systems locked. The Union commanders stared in astonishment. "They're paralyzed?" gasped one officer. "How is one ship doing this?" Quinn's voice came over the comm. "Precision, not power. We are not here to destroy unnecessarily. We are here to neutralize threats efficiently. Watch and learn." The Horizon Lance moved like a predator in slow motion. It weaved between debris fields, its energy signature bending light around it, making it nearly invisible. Every pulse, every weapon discharge, was calculated to protect Union ships and minimize collateral damage. Soon, Vorak capital ships entered the battlefield, massive vessels bristling with weapons. Union fleets readied for what seemed like inevitable destruction. The Horizon Lance did not hesitate. It engaged its primary systems shields expanded to cover Allied ships, energy disruptors targeted Vorak engines, and navigation systems calculated every trajectory to avoid enemy fire. Union commanders could only watch as their battered fleets began to survive where they had once expected annihilation. One by one, Vorak attacks failed. The Horizon Lance had taught them a new lesson. Precision and speed could outweigh brute force. Timo watched the battle with growing excitement. "They underestimated humans," he said quietly. "They never expected a single species to act this decisively. But they should have known. Humans are remarkable." The Vorak Dominion, confused and frustrated, launched a concentrated strike on the Horizon Lance. A wave of massive energy blasts tore through space, lighting up the darkness. Sensors warned of incoming damage, but the human ship adjusted instantly. Shields shifted, absorbing attacks in one place while strengthening in another. Weapons countered with pulses that disabled Vorak targeting systems, leaving the enemy vulnerable. "Keep your focus," Quinn said calmly to her crew. "Every ship in the Union fleet depends on our guidance. Move fast, act smart, and remember we fight for survival, not glory." The human crew worked as a single unit, their coordination flawless. Every sensor reading, every calculation, every decision was shared instantly. The Vorak Dominion struggled to adapt. Their strategies, once predictable to Union forces, now faltered against the human ship's unpredictable moves. Union officers began to notice a pattern. The Horizon Lance did not attack recklessly. It acted as a leader, guiding Union ships, directing fire, and offering real-time tactical advice. The Union fleet, inspired by the ship's presence, began to fight more effectively. Morale, previously near collapse, surged with renewed hope. For the first time in weeks, the Galactic Union felt a chance. The Horizon Lance was not just a ship, it was a symbol of possibility. If humans could act this decisively, perhaps the galaxy still had a future. Hours passed. Vorak losses mounted. Their assault squadrons faltered, their capital ships were disabled or destroyed, and their advance slowed. Panic rippled through the enemy ranks. Vorak commanders had never faced a single ship capable of such efficiency and intelligence. One Vorak officer, observing the Horizon Lance, hissed in fear. "What kind of weapon is this? One ship cannot possess this level of control. We are unprepared. Retreat! Retreat!" But retreat was not easy. The Horizon Lance anticipated their movements, cutting off escape routes while keeping Union ships safe. It was a dance of strategy and precision, executed flawlessly. Every move inspired confidence in the Union fleets. While Vorak forces faltered, Admiral Korvath could hardly believe what he was seeing. I cannot understand it. One human ship, one vessel is turning the tide of an entire battle. Timo nodded. That is the nature of humans. They are clever, adaptable, and fearless. Do not mistake their small numbers for weakness. They are a species to be reckoned with. By the end of the first full engagement, Vorak forces had been pushed back for the first time in cycles. Union ships, battered and weary, survived with minimal losses. The Horizon Lance hovered above the battlefield, its shields glowing softly, ready to respond to the next wave. Quinn monitored the battlefield closely. "This is only the beginning," she said. "We have shown them what humans can do. But the Vorak will return, stronger and more determined. We must be ready for anything." Union leaders, previously doubtful and despairing, began to see the human ship not as a single vessel, but as a beacon of hope. They realized that the war might not be lost after all. Humanity, calm, precise, and brilliant, had arrived. In the days that followed, the Horizon Lance continued its operations. It repaired damaged Union ships with energy pulses, disrupted Vorak communications, and guided fleets to advantageous positions. Its presence alone inspired Union soldiers to fight harder and think smarter. Meanwhile, the Vorak Dominion regrouped. They sent reconnaissance ships to study the Horizon Lance, hoping to uncover its weaknesses, but no matter how much they scanned, no enemy had yet seen anything like it. The ship's technology, its adaptive systems, and the humans' tactical brilliance were beyond anything in their experience. Back on Earth, humans watched the reports from the Horizon Lance with quiet determination. "They have underestimated us for the last time," Quinn said, her eyes fixed on the screens. "This is how humans fight, not with arrogance, but with intelligence, adaptability, and courage. One ship can change the course of history if it is used wisely." The Galactic Union began to spread word of humanity's arrival. Across countless systems, alien species whispered about the strange, powerful ship from Earth. Tales of its precision, effectiveness, and brilliance inspired hope. If humans could arrive in time, perhaps the galaxy still had a chance. Union scientists studied the Horizon Lance from afar, amazed by its technology. Shields that adjusted to multiple types of energy, weapons that disabled without destruction, engines that moved faster than expected, and systems that learned and adapted in real time. Many concluded that humans had unlocked secrets no other species had ever known. Meanwhile, Vorak fleets retreated to a distant system, regrouping for a larger assault. They knew they had encountered something extraordinary, and their commanders feared the Horizon Lance. The first time they had faced humans, they had assumed them weak and irrelevant. Now, they were cautious, wary, and uncertain. Union leaders held a council meeting to discuss the implications. Humans are not just another species, Timo said. They are a force that can shift the balance of the war. We must rely on them not as allies, but as leaders in strategy and innovation. Admiral Korvath sighed. I never thought I would say this, but they are remarkable. Perhaps the galaxy still has hope. The Horizon Lance continued its mission, guiding Union fleets, defending star systems, and preparing for the inevitable next battle. The Vorak Dominion would return, stronger than before, but humanity had shown the galaxy one undeniable truth. Courage, intelligence, and adaptability could overcome even the most terrifying odds. And in that moment, hope returned to the war-torn stars. The galaxy had not seen the last of the Horizon Lance, but they had seen enough to know one thing. Humans were different, extraordinary, and capable of changing the fate of countless worlds. The story of the Horizon Lance had just begun. The Vorak Dominion's fleets gathered in a distant system, their massive ships bristling with weapons and energy cannons. After their first defeat by the strange human vessel, the Vorak were determined to crush it. They had underestimated humans before, but not again. Commanders barked orders across their fleet, trying to coordinate a strike capable of overwhelming the Horizon Lance. We will destroy it, snarled General Korthal, a hulking Vorak with scales as black as obsidian. No single ship, no matter how advanced, can survive the might of our combined fleets. Target it first. Annihilate it. Meanwhile, the Horizon Lance drifted silently on the edge of the system, scanning enemy positions. Captain Maraquin's crew worked with precise coordination, analyzing every Vorak ship's trajectory, shield strength, and weapon capacity. Sensors show multiple energy waves converging on our location, said Lieutenant Carter, a human weapons officer. They're coming in fast, Captain. Quinn nodded. Prepare the adaptive shields. Weapons on standby. We fight smart, not hard. Every move must count. The Horizon Lance activated its defensive systems. A halo of shimmering energy enveloped the ship, bending light and dispersing energy pulses. The shields adjusted in real time, shifting where the enemy fire struck most. Every blast from the Vorak cannons was partially absorbed, partially deflected, leaving the ship almost untouched. The Vorak fleet opened fire, unleashing a torrent of missiles, lasers, and plasma beams. The Horizon Lance did not panic. Instead, it moved gracefully, weaving through the onslaught with near-perfect precision. Each pulse of its energy disruptors disabled weapons or engines of nearby Vorak ships, leaving them vulnerable. Union fleets, observing the engagement from nearby systems, could hardly believe their eyes. Their battered ships, once overwhelmed by Vorak attacks, now maneuvered confidently under the guidance of the human warship. Timo, the Relithian ambassador, leaned forward over the council console. They are incredible, he whispered. One ship is turning the tide of this battle. The humans are changing everything. Even Admiral Korvath of the Exilari, known for his skepticism, could not hide his astonishment. It is unreal. A single ship is guiding an entire fleet and defeating the Vorak. How is this possible? On board the Horizon Lance, Captain Quinn remained calm. They expect us to act like they do, predictable, slow, reckless. We do the opposite. Focus on strategy, timing, and adaptability. That is how we win. The ship's systems worked like a single organism. Weapons fired only when necessary. Shields strengthened where most needed. And the engines calculated movement to exploit gaps in the Vorak formation. In minutes, entire squadrons of Vorak ships were paralyzed or destroyed, unable to adapt to the human tactics. The Vorak General Korthal growled in frustration. This ship, it is not like anything we have fought before. It anticipates our moves. Change formation. Focus fire. Destroy it. Despite his orders, the Vorak fleet faltered. The Horizon Lance moved between volleys, disabling their engines, scrambling targeting systems, and even jamming communications. Vorak ships collided in confusion, creating chaos among the enemy ranks. Union officers cheered quietly, their morale renewed for the first time in months. Ships that had been damaged and disheartened now moved with renewed confidence. Guided by the Horizon Lance, they coordinated attacks, cut supply lines, and reclaimed lost territory. Look at them work together, Timo said, pointing at the tactical display. The humans have not only strengthened our fleet, they have taught us how to fight smarter. This is unprecedented. The Horizon Lance continued its advance toward the Vorak command ship. Its crew analyzed the massive vessel's shield patterns, weapon cycles, and engine weaknesses. With careful precision, the ship unleashed a sequence of energy pulses, disabling critical systems without destroying the hull. The Vorak flagship, once confident in its power, began to lose control over its fleet. In the middle of the battlefield, the Horizon Lance executed a maneuver no alien ship had attempted before. Using gravitational slingshots from nearby asteroids and energy redirection, it appeared in multiple positions almost simultaneously. Enemy sensors failed to track it accurately. The Vorak ships fired blindly, missing by vast distances. Captain, our movements are confusing them, Lieutenant Carter reported. They cannot predict us. Their attacks are ineffective. Good, Quinn replied calmly. Keep it that way. Confusion is a weapon. We will use their mistakes against them. The Vorak Dominion, facing unprecedented failure, attempted a desperate plan. They deployed massive shockwave weapons designed to destroy entire sectors of space. But the Horizon Lance calculated the timing, redirected energy flows, and absorbed the shockwaves without damage. Union admirals, watching the battle unfold, realized that the human ship had transformed their defeat into victory. For the first time, the Union fleets moved as one, coordinated by the humans' guidance and technology. In the midst of the chaos, a Vorak officer radioed to General Korthal. Sir, our forces cannot penetrate the human ship's defenses. Our attacks are failing. We are losing control of the battlefield. Korthal roared in anger, scales rattling with fury. No, this cannot happen. They are only one species, one ship. Focus everything on it. But it was too late. The Horizon Lance, acting with perfect precision, had already disabled the Vorak flagship's weapons and disrupted command signals across the enemy fleet. Without coordination, Vorak ships began to retreat, some falling into Union fire, others colliding in confusion. Union officers erupted in cheers. They're retreating! They're actually retreating! Timo's small body trembled with excitement. The humans! They have done it! One ship has turned the battle. Captain Quinn allowed herself a small smile. This is only the beginning. The Vorak will regroup, but we have shown them something they cannot ignore. One ship, with strategy and intelligence, can change the tide of war. The Horizon Lance moved to guide retreating Union ships to safer positions, repairing damage and reinforcing shields where needed. Its presence was not just about offense, it was about survival, leadership, and inspiration. The Vorak Dominion retreated to a distant system, licking their wounds and reassessing their strategy. They had encountered something extraordinary. A species that could think faster, act smarter, and fight differently than any other in the galaxy. Back in the Galactic Union, leaders gathered to discuss the battle's outcome. They have changed the war, Admiral Korvath said quietly. One ship, one species. And yet they have done what all our fleets could not. Timo nodded. Humans are not just soldiers, they are innovators, leaders, and problem solvers. This is why we brought them in. They are not here to fight like us. They are here to teach us how to survive. Union scientists studied data from the Horizon Lance, amazed at its adaptive technology. shields that adjusted in real time, weapons that disabled without destruction, engines capable of near-instantaneous maneuvers, and communication systems that coordinated thousands of ships simultaneously. No species had ever produced anything like it. Captain Quinn addressed her crew. "We have shown the galaxy what humans can do. But our work is not finished. The Vorak will return. And next time, they will be stronger. We must remain vigilant, adaptive, and ready for anything. Humanity does not fight recklessly, we fight with intelligence." The crew nodded in agreement. They had become part of something greater than themselves. They were not just defending the Union, they were demonstrating the potential of humanity, the value of creativity, courage, and adaptability. In distant star systems, the story of the Horizon Lance spread. Union fleets inspired by its success moved with new confidence. Alien species whispered about the single human ship that had defeated the Vorak in ways no one thought possible. And in the void of space, the Horizon Lance continued its mission. Its shields glowed faintly, its engines pulsed with energy, and its crew remained focused. The galaxy's war was far from over, but humanity had arrived, and in doing so, had changed the course of history. For the first time, the Vorak Dominion faced a species they could not easily destroy. A species that thought differently, acted strategically, and inspired hope. The Horizon Lance was more than a ship, it was a symbol that one species, using intelligence, courage, and adaptability, could turn the tide of a war that seemed hopeless. As the Horizon Lance prepared to lead the Union fleets to reclaim lost systems, Captain Quinn looked at the stars ahead. "We fight for survival, for hope, for every world counting on us. Humanity is not just here to survive. We are here to show the galaxy that even one species can change everything." The battle was over, but the war continued. And the Horizon Lance, a single human warship, would be at the center of every fight to come. The Vorak Dominion had regrouped. Their fleets, larger and more powerful than ever, gathered near a strategic star system at the edge of the Galactic Union. Their commander, General Korthal, seethed with frustration. The strange human ship had humiliated their forces before, and now they were determined to finish the job. "No single species can defeat us," Korthal roared to his officers. "We will crush the Horizon Lance and teach the galaxy that the Vorak cannot be challenged. Prepare the full fleet. Total annihilation. No survivors." Across the Union, commanders prepared for the worst. Reports of the Vorak gathering in massive numbers spread quickly. Fleets trembled at the thought of facing the enemy's full strength. But they had hope born from the single human warship that had already turned the tide. Captain Mara Quinn of the Horizon Lance studied the incoming fleet. Her crew worked efficiently, analyzing every ship's weapons, shields, and movement patterns. "They will bring everything they have," she said calmly. "We must be smarter, faster, and stronger than ever before. This battle will decide the fate of the galaxy." The Union fleets followed the Horizon Lance into the system. Ships battered and weary from past battles now moved with confidence, their paths coordinated perfectly by the human vessel. It was as if the ship could see the flow of the battle before it even happened. Vorak scouts approached first, flying through asteroid fields and debris. The Horizon Lance fired precision pulses that disabled engines without destroying the ships. One by one, the scouts fell, unable to relay information back to the Vorak command. Panic rippled through the enemy fleet. General Korthal's voice trembled as he barked orders. "Increase firepower. Target the human ship directly. Use everything." But the Horizon Lance was ready. Adaptive shields glowed brighter, absorbing volleys of energy blasts. Weapon systems fired in perfect sequences, disrupting Vorak, targeting computers and disabling key engines across the enemy lines. Every move the Vorak made was anticipated, countered, and turned against them. Union commanders watched in awe. "I have never seen anything like this," Admiral Korvath admitted. "One ship, one human ship is doing what thousands of our vessels could not." Timo, the small Relithian ambassador, nodded. "They are extraordinary." This is why we needed humans. Not for numbers, but for intelligence, creativity, and courage. The Vorak are facing something they cannot understand. As the battle intensified, the Horizon Lance revealed another secret. Its weapons were not merely destructive, they were adaptive. They could disable systems without destroying ships, redirect energy flows, and even create temporary barriers that protected entire fleets. Vorak ships fired their heaviest weapons, but the human vessel redirected the energy, turning it back on the enemy. One by one, Vorak capital ships began to falter. Engines failed. Weapons misfired, and communications broke down. Chaos spread across their fleet. The Horizon Lance moved like a conductor, guiding Union forces and ensuring that no ship was left vulnerable. "Captain, their flagship is trying to flee," Lieutenant Carter reported. "We have a chance to strike a decisive blow." Quinn's eyes narrowed. "Not yet. We end this properly. The Vorak must see that the galaxy will not bow to fear. We fight to protect, not to destroy recklessly." Prepare to disable their flagship. The Horizon Lance maneuvered with perfect precision, targeting the Vorak flagship's engines and communication systems. Pulses of energy disabled weapon systems and navigation. The massive ship drifted helplessly, unable to continue the attack or coordinate its forces. General Korthal roared in disbelief. "Impossible! How can one ship do this? Retreat! Retreat! We cannot win!" But it was too late. The Vorak fleet, disoriented and weakened, began to collapse. Union ships pressed forward, reclaiming lost territory and rescuing besieged planets. For the first time, the galaxy witnessed a turning point in a war that had seemed hopeless. The Horizon Lance moved among the recovering fleets, repairing damage, strengthening shields, and guiding strategic retreats for vulnerable ships. Its presence inspired courage, not fear. Alien soldiers, who had once trembled before the Vorak, now fought with determination, knowing that humanity was on their side. Timo turned to Admiral Korvath. "The humans, they are not just fighters. They are teachers, leaders, and guardians. We have underestimated them for too long." Korvath nodded slowly. "Yes, they have changed the very nature of this war. One species, one ship, and yet they have saved countless lives." Captain Quinn addressed her crew over the comms. "Today, we have shown the galaxy what humans can do. But our mission is not only to fight, it is to protect, guide, and inspire. Humanity does not conquer for power. We fight to ensure survival and hope. Remember that as we continue." The crew worked tirelessly, coordinating movements across vast distances, repairing damage, and guiding fleets with unmatched efficiency. Every action was deliberate, precise, and calculated to protect life wherever possible. In the Vorak command center, panic and fear reigned. General Korthal realized that the Horizon Lance was not merely a ship, it represented a species that could think, adapt, and act faster than any enemy. For the first time, the Vorak feared not just defeat, but the realization that humans might be unstoppable. Across the galaxy, alien species took note. Reports of the human ship's efficiency, adaptability, and courage spread like wildfire. The story of a single vessel turning the tide of war became legend almost immediately. Union scientists studied the Horizon Lance's technology and strategy, amazed by the humans' ingenuity. Shields that adapted instantly to multiple energy types, weapons that disabled without destruction, engines that moved faster than expected, and systems that coordinated fleets seamlessly. Humans had unlocked secrets no other species had ever known. Even the Vorak were forced to acknowledge humanity's brilliance. "This is beyond comprehension," one Vorak officer admitted quietly. "How can one species, with one ship, possess such power and intelligence?" Captain Quinn observed the battlefield calmly. "The Vorak have underestimated us for too long, but they will learn. They must learn that courage, intelligence, and adaptability are stronger than fear, numbers, or brute force." As the battle concluded, the Vorak fleet retreated completely, their morale shattered. The Horizon Lance had not destroyed them recklessly, but had demonstrated that the galaxy would not be ruled by fear or tyranny. The Union fleets, inspired and confident, began reclaiming lost systems. Planets once occupied by the Vorak rejoiced as liberation came at last. Union leaders held an emergency council. "Humans are no longer unknown," Timo said. "They have shown the galaxy their strength, intelligence, and courage. We have learned what it means to fight alongside them. They are not just allies, they are leaders, even among the stars." Admiral Korvath added, "Humanity has changed everything. They have shown that even one species, one ship, can alter the fate of an entire war. We owe them our gratitude and our respect." Back on Earth, humanity watched the reports from the Horizon Lance with quiet satisfaction. They had not sought glory or conquest. They had acted to protect, to inspire, and to demonstrate that courage and intelligence could overcome even the greatest odds. Captain Quinn addressed her crew one final time in the midst of the celebrations. "We have done what many thought impossible. But our work continues. The galaxy is vast, and danger will always return. Humanity does not fight for power. We fight to protect, to guide, and to ensure hope. Remember that, always." The Horizon Lance moved silently among the stars, its mission clear. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as guardians. Its presence was a promise that the galaxy could survive even the darkest hours if courage, intelligence, and cooperation were applied. And in the hearts of countless beings across the galaxy, one truth became undeniable. Humans were extraordinary. They were a species capable of changing fate itself, not through numbers, but through creativity, strategy, and bravery. The Vorak Dominion had been defeated not by overwhelming force, but by a single human warship and the species behind it. The galaxy would never forget this moment. The Horizon Lance became a symbol, a legend, and a reminder that sometimes all it takes is one determined species to turn the tide of history. And as the stars shone brightly above, Captain Quinn and her crew prepared for the next mission, knowing that humanity had proven something more important than technology or strength. That courage, intelligence, and hope can change the course of the galaxy itself. The war was far from over, but the galaxy had learned its greatest lesson. Humanity had arrived, and the future would never be the same.